My parents gave my sister a luxury car with red bow and handed me $2. I walked out and blocked them at 2 a.m. But before I share my story, please take a minute of your precious time to support our channel. Your support and love keeps us going. I'm cross-legged on my parents' hardwood floor in River Point, surrounded by torn wrapping paper and the sugary scent of a plug-in pine diffuser trying its best to impersonate Christmas. Across from me, my younger sister, Layla Carter, spins a set of glossy car fobs between manicured fingers. The metal flashes under the twinkling lights as she does a half pirouette that makes her look 19 instead of 29. I cannot, she squeals, bouncing. My own ride. Dad's grinning, so wide his cheeks crease like folded napkins. Mom clasps her hands beneath her chin as if witnessing a prayer answered. Outside in the driveway, a snow-white Zephyr X7, sleek as a promise, capped with a ridiculous red bow that probably cost more than the last 3 gifts I gave them combined. In my lap, a plastic piggy bank molded like a cartoon bear from a kid's show I outgrew decades ago. The tag they forgot to peel off says $3.50. Mom nods toward the rubber stopper. Open it, baby. My fingers feel wooden. 2 crisp $5 bills flutter into my palm. It's the start of your home fund, Dad announces. Half chuckle, half decree. You're so careful with money, unlike some people. He winks at Layla, who feigns offense with the grace of a rehearsed bit. Silence stretches, thin and sticky. Mom fills it. Layla needs reliable transportation for her new branding clients. Image matters in that world. Layla drops beside me on the couch, a cloud of expensive perfume rolling over my shoulders. Don't trip, sis. I'll chauffeur you whenever you need. She pats my knee like she's blessing me. Your little hatchback has to be limping by now. My 8-year-old sedan, the one that scraped across mountain passes yesterday without complaint, the one I finished paying off 3 years ago, sits in memory like a loyal friend. It's been steadier than any relationship in this room. Something inside my chest cinches. I'm 33, and this isn't an exception, it's the template. This morning I wrapped their presents with hospital-grade neatness. A leather briefcase for Dad that ate 2 weeks of pay, a silver bracelet Mom lingered over in a North Shore boutique window, the camera lens Layla might need someday. I built those gifts the way I build everything. Slowly, carefully, setting a little aside from each check for months. I even practiced my announcement for the whole drive down from North Shore, senior structural engineer, earned with late nights, weekend site visits, and designs meant to outlast me. Maybe this year, I told myself at gas stations and mile markers, maybe this year they'll finally see me. I set the plastic bear on the glass coffee table. It makes a hollow, embarrassed sound. Excuse me, I say, calm, because rage would give the moment too much dignity. Bathroom. I walk up the stairs past our family photos, Layla beaming in frame after frame, me blurred at the edges. The lock snicks into place, and my reflection meets me with dry eyes and a face set too carefully. I press my palms to the cold counter and wait for tears that refuse to come. Pressure spreads through my ribs like setting concrete. People talk about heartbreak like a metaphor. It's not. It's a physical thing, a slow tightening, a room with shrinking walls. Downstairs, Layla laughs, bright and effervescent, already drafting road trip plans with our parents. My chest pinches again. I stare at myself a little longer, then decide I don't have to die in this house to be buried by it. In my childhood bedroom, I pack fast and quiet. I take what's mine in more than name, the soft, worn teddy my grandmother gave me, the college photo album, a small wooden box holding the first blueprint I ever stamped with my initials. The expensive gifts I brought this year stay under their tree like props that never belonged to my scene anyway. At the kitchen counter, I lay my house key beside the coffee maker that'll sputter to life in a few hours. They've already made their choice. Now I make mine. Streetlights smear into halos as I hit the road. The dash clock says 3:41 a.m., Christmas morning. Snow feathers down, the wipers thump. An old crooner hums about merry, bright things. I twist the volume to nothing. Have yourself a good one, I tell the empty passenger seat. My voice catches on good like it's a lie that costs interest. Through the southern edge of River Point, the heater gamely fights the cold. The Zephyr's bow probably glows cherry red under the porch light. In my mind it's a signal flare for a ship I was never meant to board. My car hums low and loyal, an engine that has never once asked me to be smaller. Around 6, my phone throbs against the console. Mom on the screen. Not are you safe? Not please come back. Just, did you pay the electric on the cabin before you left North Shore? The family cabin they bought for weekends that Layla uses for filtered photo ops. A semi hurls slush across my windshield. For 3 raw seconds I drive blind. When the glass clears, the road returns and so do memories, crisp as frost. Layla's 5th birthday blowout. Hired entertainers, a pony, a cake shaped like a turreted castle, half the neighborhood in crowns. My next year's 6th, a grocery store sheet cake at our kitchen table. 2 classmates, party favors from the clearance bin. Your sister needs the stimulation, Dad said. You're independent. Independent. Their code for you don't need us. High school graduation. My valedictory speech floated to an empty family row because Layla's JV soccer had an away game. We'll watch the recording, Mom promised. The tape collected dust until I left for college. College. 20-plus hours a week in the bookstore and dining hall, maxed course loads to finish early. Layla found herself across the Atlantic on our parents' dime. She needs room to explore, Dad said on one of his rare calls. You've always known who you are. Translation, you don't deserve exploration. The phone lights up again, Dad this time. I let it talk to itself. Dawn blushes faintly at the horizon. Tears blur oncoming headlights into gold streaks, and I ease onto the shoulder, hazards ticking like a metronome. Patterns crystallize, Dad handling the money, Mom managing the feelings. One parent writes checks to status, the other writes a story where I'm selfish for asking for crumbs. The phone buzzes yet again. Not family this time. Jay Thompson, my freshman year roommate turned forever friend. Where are you? She asks, her voice sliding into the car's cabin like heat. South of the River Point line, I say, and I don't recognize the sound of myself. Heading away. A beat of quiet. Come to Bayview City, she says. Stay with me. Family isn't supposed to hurt like this. Jade knows. She saw the packages that arrived freshman year. Mine practical, Layla's designer. She knew the winter breaks I spent in the dorms, while my parents flew Layla to warm places with prettier lighting. I can't impose. You've lived your whole life carrying everyone, she says, voice firm now. Let somebody carry you. The words crack something open. Help. Simple. Radical. Unfamiliar. Okay, I whisper, surprising both of us. Text me your location, every hour. I'm making up the guest room. When the call ends, I merge back onto the highway. The wipers carve clean arcs. My shoulders drop a fraction. By full morning, the welcome to Southland sign rises in the pale sun. My screen shows missed calls in double digits, and more unread messages than I care to count. I silence Mom, Dad, Layla in one deliberate sweep. The quiet is blessed and heavy. Hunger taps. A diner appears, one of those chrome-trimmed holdovers with an open sign that never sleeps. I pull in. Warmth and coffee hit me like an embrace. The air sizzles with bacon and something buttery on a grill I can't see. A waitress with silver-streaked braids and a name tag that reads Gloria slides a mug in front of me before I can ask. Rough night. Rough life. I mutter, then wince at my own drama. She doesn't flinch. Honey, I've been pouring coffee for 40 years. I know the look people get when the folks who are supposed to love them make them feel small. She nudges a menu toward me. Family is blood by birth. Family is love by behavior. Her hand, brown, weathered, sure, rests on mine for a heartbeat. Then she's gone to another table. I order the special because it comes with extra bacon, and because choosing anything at all feels like practice. Snow freckles the window. I wrap my palms around the mug, and let Gloria's words sink like heat into cold bone. For 33 years, I have been related to the Carter family. Maybe it's time to learn what belonging feels like. 3 weeks after I left River Point, my phone vibrates on Jade's spare nightstand for what feels like the 13th time this morning. Dad again. I count to 10, then let it die into the voicemail graveyard with the others. The first week, their messages sounded confused. The second, concerned. By week 3, they've hardened into something else. Authority wrapped in guilt. Nia Carter! Dad's thunder rolls through the latest message I finally play to the end. Return my car immediately, or I'll report it stolen. My car. The title with my name on it says otherwise. I press the pillow to my stomach until the anger dissolves to a low throb. Mom's voicemail follows, brittle and practiced. The doctor says my pressure is up because of the stress you're causing. Is that what you want? Delete. Delete. I hesitate longer than I'd like before the second beep confirms it's gone. Jade's apartment in Bayview City is painted a soft terracotta that drinks the morning light and gives it back warmer. On the dresser, my laptop screen blinks to a draft I've rewritten 14 times. Dear Mr. Harland, I'm writing to request an immediate transfer to our Bayview City office. I don't let myself tinker anymore. I hit send. No favors. No strings. Just my record, my drawings, my name. 3 hours later, the reply lands. Approved. Just like that, as if choosing myself were always this straightforward. You got it. Jade leans on the doorframe, curls spilling around her face, grin bright enough to take the edge off a day that started with threats. I start Monday, I say, and the steadiness in my voice surprises me. I'll need a place. Handled. She waves me off. Called Deja Brooks from my church circle, she manages a few places in Harbor Heights. Solid building, rent stabilized, decent neighbors, 15-minute walk to your new office. You didn't have to. I wanted to. She slides in beside me on the bed. Let people love you, Nia. That's not weakness, that's community. A small, resistant part of me loosens its jaw. Thank you. She sets a business card on my keyboard. Dr. Raina Cole, Ph.D., Family Therapy. Tuesday at 4. Go once. If you hate it, curse me out and never go back. I'm not. Crazy. Of course not. Jade's eyes soften. But you've been carrying a boulder up a staircase that isn't yours. Tuesday at 4, Dr. Cole's office smells faintly of lemon oil and old pages. She's a black woman in quiet shoes, glasses on a beaded chain, and the kind of presence that makes silence feel like an invitation instead of a punishment. She doesn't rush. She waits while I fail to sculpt my feelings into sentences. Favoritism. I finally say, the word hanging between us like a planet with its own gravity. My whole life. And how did that teach you to see yourself? She asks. Like I was worth exactly $10. I answer, 2 5s and a plastic bear. She nods once, not pitying, not shocked. Then let's work on recalculating. When I leave, Baby's late sun is slanting gold across the brick. For the first time in weeks, my breath feels like it belongs to me. On Thursday, Deja meets me in front of a brick walk-up on a quiet Harbor Heights block. She's tall, with locks swept into a low bun and a key ring that jingles like a tambourine. Unit 3C, she says, ushering me up. 680 square feet. Western windows. It ain't fancy, but the bones are good. The place is small. Yes, but afternoon light pours across the hardwood like it's been waiting for me. The kitchenette is narrow, the closet honest, the air unburdened by anyone else's expectations. I'll take it, I hear myself say, quicker than I would have even 2 weeks ago. Deja's smile widens. Then it's yours by nightfall. Welcome home, Miss Carter. I buy a foldable couch, a lamp, a small desk. Nothing more. The space doesn't feel empty. It feels deliberate, room to grow, not prove. That evening, Jade's voice floats from my phone while I assemble the lamp. Proud of you, she says. You sound lighter. Maybe I am. The next morning, Bayview wakes to fog that burns off by 9. I walk to the office with coffee warming my hands and a carryover calm from Dr. Cole's room. My new team, black, brown, a mosaic of laughter and focus, greets me with a mix of curiosity and welcome. Before lunch, Mr. Harlan stops by my desk. We've followed your flood retrofit plans out of North Shore, he says, offering his hand. Glad you're here, Senior Structural Engineer Carter. Hearing it out loud rearranges something inside me, like a bookshelf finally braced to code. By afternoon, I'm knee-deep in an adaptive reuse project, calculating loads for a music school that will echo with sound instead of dust. Work is a language I speak without apology. Numbers don't play favorites. That night, the phone rings again. I let it pass once, twice, and then answer on the third, because the only way out is through. Where have you been? Dad explodes before I can say hello. Behind him, I can practically hear Mom's tissue crinkle. In Bayview City, I say evenly. I transferred. Without a conversation. Mom pushes into the call, voice tight. How could you be so inconsiderate? The old reflex. Apologize. Explain. Shrink. Rises. Then recedes like a wave that's learned my new shoreline. Dr. Cole's voice slides in, patient. Your feelings are valid. Their reactions belong to them. I needed space, I say. From family. Dad barks. From responsibility. From growing up. From being invisible. I answer, amazed that my voice doesn't shake. From being valued less than Layla. From trying to earn love that should have been free. Mom's tears start instantly. How can you say something so cruel? We love you both the same. I'm not responsible for your feelings, I tell her. I'm responsible for mine. A sharp exhale. A slam. This is over until you're ready to apologize, Dad declares. Then we're done for now, I say, and end the call with hands that don't tremble. The quiet that follows isn't empty, it's mine. By the weekend, rumors filter in through old coworkers and a cousin who loves to forward what she should ignore. In the story my parents are telling, I've had a breakdown, joined something cult adjacent, and moved into squalor. Layla's socials show curated concern. Soft focus selfies captioned with pray for your loved ones. My new colleagues don't know any of that. They know my calculations are clean, my site notes exact, my sketches generous with sunlight and safety. On Wednesday nights, I sit in a church basement circle that smells like brewed coffee and old hymnals. 8 black strangers linked by familiar bruises. Raymond, a 60-year-old accountant with a gentle baritone, says, family doesn't get to keep the title if they don't keep the terms. Love without respect ain't love. It's possession. The truth lands in my chest and builds a small, sturdy shelf. By the end of the month, 3C looks less like a stopgap and more like a life. A real bed replaces the fold-out. A thrifted table waits for meals I haven't learned to cook yet. On the mantel, the plastic bear sits in plain view, no longer a monument to smallness, but a marker. Each Sunday, I slide a $2 coin into the slot, Southland Mint, shiny and odd, one for every week I refuse to price myself at $10 ever again. I'm not fixed. I'm building. And for once, the blueprint is mine. For weeks after I traded River Point snow for Bayview sunlight, the first video call from my parents came through. I answered on the third ring, bracing for the familiar swell of guilt. Dad's face filled the screen, skin flushed, jaw tight. Where have you been, Nia? His voice thundered like courtroom gavel. Your mother's been sick with worry. Behind him, Mom dabbed dry eyes with a tissue as if she were auditioning for grief. I've been here, I said, calm as I could manage. I transferred to Bayview. You didn't even talk to us first. Mom snapped, pressing into the frame. So selfish. The old script tugged at me. Apologize, explain, fold myself back into their story. But Dr. Cole's words echoed. Your feelings are valid. Their reactions are theirs, not yours. I needed space, I said. From family. Dad barked. From your duties. From being an adult. From being invisible, I answered. From being worth less than Layla. From trying to earn love that should have been free. Mom's tears came on cue. How can you wound us like this? We did our best. We loved you equally. I'm not here to manage your feelings anymore, I said. I'm here to manage mine. Dad's palm slammed the table. This conversation's done until you're ready to apologize. Then we're done talking. I ended the call. My hand was steady. The silence after was heavier than grief, but cleaner. The rumors reached me fast. According to the Carter version, I'd lost my mind, moved into a shack, and joined a healing commune. Layla's social media was a shrine of pained captions. Sometimes those we love struggle the most, pray for them. My coworkers in Bayview saw only the woman whose renderings caught light in ways that made buildings breathe. They didn't know the narrative back home, and I didn't offer it. 10 days later, Layla showed up at my office lobby unannounced, perfume preceding her like a fog. Jade happened to be dropping off lunch. She's busy, Jade told her, voice sharp enough to cut glass. And she'll stay busy for uninvited visitors. Layla's painted smile flickered. She turned, heels clicking against the marble floor, and vanished before I even left my desk. By mid-March, Wednesday nights had become ritual. In that church basement smelling of coffee and hymnals, 8 of us sat in folding chairs, trading truths. Family doesn't earn forgiveness by blood, said Raymond, the 60-year-old accountant with soft eyes and a steady voice. Love without respect. That's not love. That's ownership. His words settled into my chest like bricks, weighty but foundational. By June, 6 months had passed since the morning I left River Point. Apartment 3C no longer echoed when I walked through it. My pottery lined the windowsills, bowls and vases with edges still imperfect but steadily improving. A real bed took the place of the fold-out. Work promoted me to lead project manager after our team delivered the Bayview Cultural Pavilion ahead of schedule. For the first time in my life, money didn't feel like a leash or a test. On my bookshelf, the plastic bear remained. Inside it, $2 coins stacked like a quiet clock, one for every week of self-worth. The holidays loomed again, but this time, no lists, no performances, no shrinking. Just me. Just the people I chose. One morning, an ivory envelope landed on my counter like a live wire. I left it unopened for 3 days before giving in. Cousin Tasha's wedding. My name in elaborate script. No +1. Just me. Expected to slip back into the fold like nothing ever cracked. So, Dr. Cole asked at our session that week, adjusting her glasses. What are you thinking? I ran a finger along the brass studs on her chair. I'm going. On my terms. That's different from last week. I booked a room at the Hilton, 4 blocks from the venue. Dad's already called twice insisting I stay with them. I let voicemail collect his sermons. And how did that feel? The silence is the message, I said, smiling for real this time. 7 months of therapy had given me a vocabulary, boundaries, self-protection, no. Words I hadn't known belonged to me. That afternoon, my phone buzzed again. Layla, can't wait to see you before the wedding, her text read. We need sister time. I slid the phone back into my bag without replying. Later, I unfolded the seating chart Tasha had mistakenly copied to everyone in her email. My name sat between Mom and Dad, across from Layla. The perfect tableau, the Carter family restored. I picked up the phone. Tasha, I said when she answered, I need to ask about the seating. This time, my voice didn't shake. Friday arrives cloaked in Bayview fog, but by the time my plane lifts off, the clouds peel open to reveal the jagged landscape of the Northwest. My pulse thrums faster as the plane dips into River Point again, the city I left behind with a single note and a heavy heart. By dusk, the rehearsal dinner glows golden in the ballroom of the Magnolia Hall, chandeliers scattering light like spilled champagne. I pause at the entrance, pressing my fingers to the stone pendant jade looped around my neck before I boarded. Courage isn't the absence of fear, she told me. It's walking through it anyway. I straighten my shoulders and push open the door. Conversations stutter, then silence. Head swivel. Mom's hand clutches her pearls. Dad freezes mid-sip, and Layla's wide eyes flicker with something I've never seen on her face, uncertainty. The Nia who left last December was brittle and hollow. The Nia walking in now, in tailored black trousers and an emerald blouse that gleams like armor, feels solid, present. Layla reaches me first, arms opening. Her perfume is softer this time, her smile stretched too tight. You look amazing. Thank you. I let her hug me briefly, then step back. How's the Zephyr? Her gaze drops. I had to let it go. Got a used Honda. More sensible. Over her shoulder, I spot Dad leaning on Aunt Laverne's arm, shoulders sagging. Mom dabs her eyes again, though the tissue stays stubbornly dry. Cousin Malik sidles up with a drink in hand. Glad you made it, Nia. You wouldn't believe the drama since Christmas. Word is your folks are selling the house. Medical bills, they claim, but really, they've been carrying Layla too long. Bills caught up. Before I can respond, a waiter offers champagne. I take a flute and watch the bubbles rise and burst, like family myths, shiny but doomed to pop. Uncle Howard clasps my hand warmly. You look strong, girl. That Bayview job treating you right. Promoted to lead project manager, I say. The words still feel fresh, like stepping into shoes that finally fit. That's what I like to hear. His smile is genuine, and for once I let it warm me. Later, Dad corners me near the bar, bourbon heavy on his breath. Family sticks together, he says, leaning too close. No matter what. Does it? I meet his eyes without flinching. Or do some get carried while others get left to climb alone? We always supported you. $10 in a toy bank. My words are low but sharp. That was your idea of support. His mouth opens, then snaps shut. He turns away. In the restroom, Mom materializes beside me at the sink. Her reflection is shaky, her hand reaching for mine. We miss you so much. I rinse my hands slowly, soap sliding between my fingers. I miss who I thought you were. Her eyes widen, but I leave before she can answer. On the terrace, Layla pulls me aside, voice trembling. The car wasn't just traded, I lost it. Payments piled up, clients vanished. Dad can't bail me out anymore. I'm drowning, Nia. I don't know how to live without their safety net. 7 months ago, I would have offered solutions, cash, a place to crash. Tonight, I rest a hand lightly on her arm. That sounds really hard. Compassion swells, but without the old reflex to rescue. I can help you make a budget, but I can't fix this for you. Her eyes widen at the distinction. Behind her, Tasha glows in bridal white, rehearsing steps with her bridesmaids. Tomorrow will bring its own storm. But standing on that terrace, city lights blinking beyond, I realize fear has loosened its grip. I am no longer the woman who left River Point Hollow. I am building, from the ground up, on my own foundation. The next morning, sunlight streams through tall windows of Tasha's bridal suite. She glows beneath her veil as I pin the lace just so. My aunt's voice whispers in my ear. Your parents are waiting in the library. Say it's urgent. Of course it is. The library door feels heavier than its hinges should allow. Inside, Mom sits stiff in a high-backed chair, tissues clutched like props. Dad paces near the fireplace, movements sharp, rehearsed. Layla lingers at the window in a dress worth more than my first month's rent in Bayview, though her repossessed Zephyr is long gone. Nia, thank God. Mom breathes, rising. We need to talk. As a family. I stay by the door. The ceremony starts in 40 minutes. Sit. Dad gestures at a lone chair position to face them, a tribunal. This can't wait. I close the door behind me, but I don't move closer. I'm listening. Layla speaks first. Dad lost his job. Downsizing, he says. Mom's in therapy. They're selling the house. It all started when you walked out. The trifecta. Finances, health, guilt. A script sharpened for maximum impact. 7 months ago, I would have folded. Today, I walk to the chair, set my purse down, and sit upright. I'm sorry about your job, Dad. I say it evenly. Mom, I'm glad you're getting help. Their faces flicker with confusion. They're selling the house because of you, Layla insists. No, I reply, voice steady. They're selling because of choices made long before I left. I open my purse and slide out a leather-bound album. The first pages show birthday parties. Layla with ponies and castles, me with grocery cakes and dollar store balloons. Remember these? I flip through Christmas mornings, graduations, vacations. The pattern undeniable. Dad flushes. We treated you both the same. I pull out old statements, the kind that don't lie. My loans. $67,000, still paying. Layla's tuition? Covered. Plus her year in Paris. That's not fair, Layla murmurs. You chose engineering. It was my calling. Just like art was yours. The difference. Mine wasn't considered worth investing in. Mom rises, trembling. We didn't have the money then. Grandma's inheritance landed before I started college. Dad's raise came when I was 16. You had the money. You chose not to spend it on me. The room stills. I set down 30 years of birthday cards. Layla's, full of love. Mine, full of work hard reminders. We always knew you'd be fine. Dad says finally, voice cracking. You were capable. Being capable doesn't mean I deserved less love. My throat tightens, but my voice stays clear. Responsibility isn't a reason to neglect someone. Mom breaks. This time, her tears are real. We never meant to hurt you. Intent doesn't erase impact. From my purse, I pull the plastic bear. It lands on the table with a hollow thunk. I open the stopper, spilling out weeks of $2 coins, shimmering against the wood. One for every week since Christmas. Not punishment, remembrance. This is what you thought I was worth. Layla picks up a coin, eyes glassy. I never realized they never taught me to stand on my own. Outside, The hum of voices rises, guests finding seats, laughter warming the hall. Soon, they'll celebrate love and vows. Inside this library, we are untangling decades of the opposite. I don't want apologies, I say, standing. I want change. 2 things, family therapy, and respect for my boundaries. Dad opens his mouth, but Mom lays a hand on his arm. We'll do it, she whispers. Whatever it takes. I gather my papers and the bear, but leave the coins where they gleam. That's yours. A reminder of what favoritism costs. At the door I pause. I have a seat waiting. Jade saved it. As I walk away, I hear Layla whisper, she's not the same. She's right. The Mia who left on Christmas morning with nothing but grief and resolve is gone. In her place stands a woman who knows her worth isn't defined by crumbs, but by the boundaries she refuses to surrender. 1 year later, Christmas morning finds sunlight pouring through the wide windows of my Bayview apartment. The hardwood floors glow honey gold. The air carries rosemary, sage, and the buttery scent of cornbread dressing from the oven. Around my table sit people who chose to be here. Jade, laughing as she tops off glasses. Malik, telling stories big enough to rattle the walls. Colleagues from my firm. A couple of friends from pottery class. Tamia, Jade says, raising her glass, curls catching the light. Who builds stronger bridges than anyone I know, at work and in life. Warmth creeps up my cheeks. A year ago, I left a house key on a counter and drove into the snow with nothing but a stuffed bear and a heartbeat full of concrete. Now I stand in a space that is mine, walls decorated with vases and bowls I shaped from clay, uneven but whole. And to lead project manager Carter, adds Elias Grant, the environmental engineer whose hand now rests quietly over mine. His touch is steady, not lightning but current, something meant to last. Who delivered the Pavilion Tower project 2 weeks early, setting a new standard. When Elias first asked me for coffee 6 months ago, I nearly said no. Old habits whispered I didn't have time for myself. Dr. Cole called it growth when I said yes. The oven timer rings, rescuing me from their praise. Some changes, I've learned, take longer to accept. In the kitchen, Elias follows. Need a hand? I've got it. I begin, then pause. I hear Dr. Cole again. Accepting help doesn't shrink you. Actually, can you carve the turkey? I never learned how. He smiles. On it. My phone buzzes. A scheduled video call. Layla. Monthly check-ins. That was the boundary we set after the wedding showdown. I answer. Merry Christmas, she says. Her background shows a modest apartment, smaller than mine, walls bare except for a thrifted shelf. No luxury car keys in sight. You look happy. Your place is beautiful. It feels like home, I say, angling the camera to show the pottery studio I carved out of the second bedroom. Clay that once trembled under my hands now sits steady in bowls, vases, even a small pitcher I'm proud of. Layla's voice softens. Dad's 90 days sober today. He wanted me to tell you. She tilts the camera. Dad sits behind her on a plain sofa, shoulders smaller, eyes clearer. And Mom? I ask carefully, volunteering at the community pantry. She's different too. They both ask about you. We talk a few minutes more before saying goodbye. Later, as the last plates are cleared and my friends drift toward the balcony to watch fireworks across the bay, a text arrives. A photo from Layla, a crooked clay ornament, her first attempt at pottery. Not perfect, but made with love. Mailing tomorrow. Another message follows from Mom, found this while packing. It's always been yours. Attached is a picture of my childhood dollhouse, deed transfer paperwork beneath it. Finally, legally mine. I sit with the phone in my hand, stunned, then set it down. Change is slow but real. When the dishes are done, Elias wraps a blanket around my shoulders as we step onto the balcony. The Bayview Bridge stretches across dark water, its lights scattering like spilled gems. Against the skyline, towers I helped design stand steady rooted. Deep thoughts, he asks softly. Just gratitude, I say, leaning into his warmth. For learning that worth isn't something handed out by family or withheld. It's what you claim when you refuse to be measured by anyone else's scale. Through the window, the plastic bear gleams on the mantel. No longer a monument to $10 love, but a reminder of how far I've come and how much further I'll go on my own terms. The city hums around us, alive, unafraid. For the first time in my life, so am I. Thank you so much for watching this story until the very end. And that's Nia's journey, walking away from a lifetime of being overlooked, to finally building a life where her worth is no longer measured in crumbs of attention, but in the foundation she laid for herself. Her story is a reminder that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is choose yourself, even when it means leaving behind the people you thought you needed most. If this story touched you, if you saw a piece of yourself in Nia's struggle and her rise, then don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and share this with someone who needs to be reminded of their own worth. And most importantly, drop a comment below. Backhand index pointing right, what part of Nia's journey spoke to you the loudest? Backhand index pointing right, have you ever had to walk away from a place where you felt invisible? Your voice might be the encouragement someone else has been waiting for.